All right. Here we go, guys and gals. And boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, drivers.
Good evening, people of the world. I'm Andrew Hazlett. That's Ethan Ignatowski.
Hello.
And we're here for the Loose Wheel episode, season 49.
Season 49.
Season 2,
wow.
episode 49, the finale. And Ethan, let's just get right into the news.
Well,
or previews or reviews.
Yeah, before we do that, I want to say, last episode of the semester in the studio, last episode of the first semester in the studio. It's really cool to see how this show has come along, in my opinion, from just an idea to getting it going as a podcast. Now we're doing live radio. It's pretty cool. I think we kind of take for granted a little bit how cool this is. I don't know. So
yeah, I think we do.
But like you said, though, we do have a lot to talk about. This is the awards special of season 2, whatever you want to call it. We don't have an exact name for it. It's the awards show.
It's the NIGELS.
The NIGELS. So we're going to go through the news and reviews and stuff real quick, but I'm not going to take a lot of time with this. This is going to be a lot shorter than my usual race recap.
And now for next week's race previews.
So, of course, Abu Dhabi Formula One, last race of the 2024 season. The Constructors' Championship was on the line. A McLaren win would win the team the championship no matter what Ferrari could do. And McLaren was starting off well in qualifying with a 1-2. Sainz was in third. Charles Leclerc had a penalty. And he was way out of the points, all the way down in 19th to start the race. So, what happened during the actual race? Well, we had, even though he's wrapped up the championship, we had Max Verstappen not knowing when to not dive bomb someone, Andrew. Verstappen tried to force a move down the inside of Oscar Piastri for second at the first corner after he jumped Carlos Sainz. I guess it's a racing incident, but also not, because Max should have known that there's absolutely no shot that he makes that move stick. He's a 4-time champion. He's the greatest of his generation, but he just still doesn't know when to pick his battles, and it's just kind of crazy to me. Max would end up getting a 10-second time penalty for that, and we've seen now over the last 2 races that the new punishments are going to be stricter with new race director, and I guess. But anyway, Lando drove off with the lead. Kevin Magnussen made a move on Sergio Perez at the end of the main straight, which kind of tightened up Perez and Bottas. Perez got clipped by Valtteri, and Valtteri got a 10-second time penalty, and Perez had to retire from the race. On lap 3, Oscar, he was at the back of the grid after being spun by Max. He just straight up drove into the back of Franco Colapinto. It was a very weird incident. I don't know how it happened, but Oscar got a 10-second time penalty. Throughout the later single-digit laps of the race, Leclerc was fighting his way up the grid. I think he made it all the way up to 12th or something by the time lap 1 was over, which was crazy. Pierre Gasly was putting on a defensive masterclass against George Russell for 3rd place. That was also really exciting to watch.
For musician, the dynamic
What was that?
It's something going in our ears. You can't.
Okay.
The people in the world can't hear it. Just continue.
On lap 12, Leclerc got past Hülkenberg for 5th, and he wasn't too far off from George Russell in 4th. During the first pit stops, I would like to note that Liam Lawson had a loose wheel. I feel like that's notable.
You picked a fine time to leave me, loose wheel.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what happened. I was like so tired when I was watching the race, but I think like it just wasn't put on properly. Lap 27.
I settled down.
Andrew, stop.
No one heard anything. Actually, no one heard anything. It's just in our ears. But continue.
It's hard to continue when you're playing things in my ears. George Russell on lap 27 was finally able to get past Pierre Gasly and put Gasly in his rearview mirror after he pit. And he came attacking Gasly. Gasly didn't have DRS, made the move easy. And Leclerc was also in front of Russell by now because he had essentially done an undercut. He got ahead of Gasly. Russell was out of position, pit stop and all that. So the top three at this time was Norris, Sainz, Leclerc. On lap 31, Valtteri Bottas got a puncture after locking up and colliding with Kevin Magnussen. And just nothing really happened this latter half of the race. It was really exciting the first 25-ish laps of the race. It was an exciting race, but the second act of the race was just absolutely nothing. Lap 45, Oscar Piastri finally passed Alex Albon to get back into the top 10. It was just a crazy race for him. And then lap 58, Lando Norris won the race and won McLaren their first Constructors' Championship since 1998, I believe it was.
We were not alive.
We were
Nor
not
was
alive.
Oscar Piastri.
Orlando, even, I
wasn't.
believe.
Oh, we'll see. I know it's close with him.
So,
He's a young boy.
yeah. I mean, he's only a few years older than us.
Yeah, Lando is 1999.
Yeah.
So, yeah, neither of Nick McLaren's two drivers were alive.
Yeah, kind of funny. So, despite Sainz and Leclerc coming home in second and third, the Lando Norris win clinched the championship. Lewis Hamilton finished fourth after passing George Russell on the final lap, which I thought was kind of funny. So Russell in fifth then, and then Verstappen, Gasly, Hülkenberg, Alonso, and Piastri, rounding out your top 10, your final points scorers of the year. So just really quickly, standings are finalized now. I'm just going to read the top 10. Max Verstappen, Lando Norris, Charles Leclerc, Oscar Piastri, Carlos Sainz, George Russell, Lewis Hamilton, Sergio Perez, Fernando Alonso, and Pierre Gasly, one place ahead of Nico Hülkenberg in 11th. And then the constructors, McLaren, of course, Ferrari, Red Bull, Mercedes, Aston Martin, Alpine, Haas, RB, Williams, and Kick Sauber. So Alpine was able to hold on to that 6th place. Impressive work from them.
Mm-hmm. Shout out Pierre Gasly for not causing damages all year long.
Yeah, I
Unofficially.
don't know about that. I know that stat's floating around.
That's why I said unofficially.
Yeah, I'm not sure about all that, but I don't know. I want to get into the news before we do the
Yeah.
We'll do the news first.
Give that a number. The race.
Oh, the race. I mean, first half of the race was good. Second half of the race quite literally put me to sleep. So I don't know, a 4 or a 5, because the first half was really good. The race wouldn't have put me to sleep, but I literally just stayed up all night.
College life sleep schedule.
So I don't know, 5. I had to rewatch the second half of the race.
Before Ethan, we get into the news, I will sincerely congratulate you.
Oh, thank you, Andrew,
for winning pick points.
Yeah.
367 to 347. Guess we're 278.
We are.
Anyway, some interesting nuggets. You only in the Formula 1 category beat me by 10. NASCAR, you beat me by 21. IndyCar, you beat me by 19. And you had points in every Indy Next race. But in sports cars, I beat you by 30.
Yeah.
To my demise, sports cars is going away next year. So I'm going to have to regroup, revise, and repower the rest of my areas.
You're gonna have to step up your game, Andrew.
Couple other
You can't let me win the first 3 seasons.
Couple other interesting notes is that with we are going to change the Formula One podium points next year.
We will, yeah.
With the new points, I would have only lost by 8 instead of 20. Also, if we didn't have guest picks, Ethan, this is with the current system, not with the formula, the new. Instead of winning by 20, you would win by 27. So there you go. Some interesting things to ponder. So the guests didn't really play it out. So let's
the guests. How far behind you did the guests finish?
89 points behind you, 69 nice points behind me. 89. That's the furthest back they've been all year, and that's where they finished. So
that's rough.
So let's get into the news, Ethan.
Yeah.
And now for the news.
We're doing good on time.
Yeah. I don't know how long the awards are gonna take, so we'll see. This is a it's a very casual award episode, I would say. But yes, into the news. Zandvoort, home of the Dutch Grand Prix, Netherlands Grand Prix for Formula One, will only be on the calendar for 1 more year. After 2025, the track will leave. The promoters of the race have decided to not continue it as in Formula One. It's a really cool experience. It's a cool track. It might be one of the coolest tracks on the Formula One calendar, but that doesn't mean it produces the best racing. It's not really fit for the modern Formula One car. So it's a cool place, but I'm not gonna miss it too much on the calendar. Like, I know you're. It's definitely not making you wake up at 6 a.m. to watch it.
Yeah, no. Yeah. But I will say, granted that it's losing its spot, I would like to see Formula 2 and Formula 3 stay there. I'd like to see more standalone events for F2 and F3 so they can go to more tracks.
The entire thing with those series is that they're a support series.
I think it would be better for those series.
I don't disagree, but that's just not how. It's just not how it happens.
I'd like to change how it happens, but
fair enough. We talked about this when Cadillac was first confirmed about how Ferrari seemed very likely to be their engine supplier. That is confirmed now. Ferrari will supply Cadillac engines for the first couple of years, so nothing really there. Just confirming what we already
knew.
Yeah. And then the season's over, but that doesn't mean Formula One is over. Already testing has begun. The end of season testing underway. Charles Leclerc led the way in Ferrari, and these times mean absolutely nothing. And there was 23 drivers, but Leclerc did lead the way. And Andrew, do you know who finished second?
No, I don't. Yuki Tsunoda?
Carlos Sainz in his Williams. But yeah, like these mean nothing. Russell Hulkenberg, Andrea Kimi Antonelli, Ayumu Iwasa, Pato Award, Jack Doohan, Paul Aaron, and Esteban Ocon was your top 10. But again, like,
what's Iwasa doing there? And
absolutely don't matter.
Aaron and Award, quite frankly, what are they doing there?
Well, so you're only allowed to have one car be driven by an experienced Formula One driver.
Okay.
So Award, reserve driver, IndyCar driver for
that
McLaren.
Makes sense.
Iwasa, he's still part of the Red Bull family. And
I thought it was, when you said 23 drivers, I thought it would be the 20 current F1 drivers for next year.
Yeah, no. So it's interesting because they sometimes split it in, like, obviously the 23. Mm-hmm. some teams split it because you can only have one experienced driver, but that really only means one car. So or one session, or I don't know exactly how
I
it
see
works.
what you mean.
So Lando and Oscar both had a run as well as a Ward. So I don't know exactly how it works, but Lando had 84 laps, Piastri had 72 laps, and then Award had 100 plus. He had 116.
Okay.
So, yeah, I don't know exactly how it all works out, but yeah.
Shifting gears over to IndyCar, some silly season news happened over there. Devlin DeFrancesco to make IndyCar return with Rahal Letterman Lanigan. Not really surprising, coming back after what I think was a couple of years with Andretti that were not very successful. We'll see if he can. This leads to anything. I don't think he will be a 2-3 years and done, because he is a pay driver. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just what pay drivers are. More often than not, it's just not very good. Like Pietro Fittipaldi, his predecessor in that car. We'll see what Ray Hall can do. I think they're going to have a down year compared to last year. As a guess, I don't know.
His best result with Andretti over his 2 years, 2022, 2023, he finished 12th twice, once at Gateway and once at Detroit. So he doesn't have any standout performance really.
Yeah, he had a good run in 1 year in the Indy Road Course before it fell to pieces for some reason. But yeah, not really much to say there. I would have liked to see Linus Lundqvist, Roman Grosjean, Rinus VeeKay, I think we can I don't know if we can say confidently say, but I think there's a chance that only one of those guys might be on the grid next year.
Yeah, probably. And I mean, when we were talking about IndyCar drivers, we didn't even talk about Devlin DeFrancesco. He was so out of sight, out of mind. I mean, the return makes sense, sure, but caught me off guard at first. I mean, not caught me off guard, but I was like, oh, Devlin DeFrancesco's back. Oh, okay. That kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. And a final piece of news. Dreyer and Reinbold Racing with Q6 sets their Indy 500 lineup with Ryan Hunter-Reay returning for another year and Jack Harvey. I think this is a solid lineup for that team. About as good as you're going to get. Ryan Hunter-Reay, fast, the Speedway. Jack Harvey, solid driver. But what's interesting, Ethan, is what's not there. Connor Daly was with the team cast couple years.
Yeah.
Why would they not have Connor Daly, I wonder? He might be with another team.
Okay.
Kossen Juncos Hollinger Racing.
Okay. We'll see.
That's what I would tend to believe. This also means Jack Harvey's probably not going to be with Dale Coyne Racing next year as well. Yeah. He could be doing some limited schedule, but probably not. We will see.
We'll see.
And it's the time I've been waiting for months. It's the NIGELS. Ladies and gentlemen, live on Blaze Radio. We had a committee fill out a form. Thank you, people who participated, the 11 people.
Thank you to those 11 people. Do we want to shout them out?
Why not?
All right, we got Noah Reed, Eric List, Rome Cady, been on the show. Morgan Tremmel, been on the show. Zach Simmons. Like Shamari Simmons. Casey McNulty. Brooklyn, in quotes, now obsesses over F1, end quote. Cohen. Amaya Zapian. Ryan Tiffany. Mr. Alexander Martinez. And then just Jake.
Jake Iovine. That's his last name.
But he just left out Jake I.
Yeah. There we go. The 11
Shout
people.
out to everyone.
Good job, people of the world.
Maybe one of them is listening.
Maybe two.
You never know.
Anyway.
You never know.
F1 livery of the year. This is our first Nigel. Well, do you want to start off? Do you want it to go me, you, or you, me?
I'll start off.
Okay.
Okay. So, since we did have the committee this year, last year we didn't. Me and Andrew just kind of argued over what we thought should win. We have a winner that we agreed upon for each category. And then the committee also. So sometimes we agree, sometimes we don't. Ours is like in the document administration has like the official winner, like they're both official winners, just one is us, the other is them. We were not
the
a part of
the official show.
Yeah, we were not a part of the committee. I don't think we influenced the committee in any way. We just like sent it out to people that we knew would be interested in responding. So
And we put it on our story.
We did too, yeah. We didn't get any responses from that.
You didn't have to say that on the air. Don't have to make us look bad. We got to make ourselves look good, Ethan.
All right, Formula One livery of the year. Who did the committee pick?
Well, we got to go through the nominations first.
Yeah, you're right. What am I doing? Okay, you have the McLaren Senna livery, of course, from Monaco, Brazilian flag themed car, giving tribute to one of McLaren's best drivers of all time, one of the best Formula One drivers of all time, the late great Ayrton Senna. You have the McLaren Chrome livery that I believe was raced at COTA, of course hearkening back to kind of the Lewis Hamilton era of McLaren, that famous Chrome. And then you have just the plain old Aston Martin livery that isn't so plain old because it's a very nice car. They just happen to race it every weekend, whereas our other two nominees were one-offs.
I think, Ethan, and don't quote me on actually continue. I do have something interesting about the Aston Martin, I believe.
Just want to do a little drum roll here. The committee selected the Monaco McLaren Senna livery. Very nice car. I think all of these are great cars. Yeah. And then
it took over 50% of the vote.
Yeah. Yeah, we can tell you the stats. That is
50%
true.
of the vote. 54.5. The Aston Martin was the only car that ran every race that has that livery.
Really?
Yes. Fun fact for you about the Aston.
So, speaking of the Aston, that was our pick to win. Right. So, already starting off with two different winners here. No love for the McLaren Chrome.
No love. It was my personal favorite, but it's not
the shiny silver. If you know, you know.
Yeah. And moving over to IndyCar Scheme of the Year, we have 5 nominees. Kyle Larson's HendrickCars.com ran at the Indy 500. Graham Ray Hall's Mobile 1 car that was ran at Laguna Seca. Santino Ferrucci's Bommarito Auto Group ran at Gateway. Joseph Newgarden's PPG that ran throughout the year. And Scott McLaughlin's Freightliner, the defending winner, that also ran throughout the year.
Mm-hmm.
The committee, Ethan, they chose the Kyle Larson Hendrick Cars livery.
66.7%.
Getting the majority of the votes.
Yeah, and only Graham Rahal and Scott McLaughlin received votes besides that Kyle Larson car.
Speaking of Scott McLaughlin, Ethan.
Yeah.
The Freightliner car going back to back for us, the defending winner.
I love that car. I think it's amazing.
They also run the same scheme for NASCAR.
Yeah. I think NASCAR, as we're about to see here, I mean, NASCAR has a lot of great schemes. So that Freightliner, it was one of our nominees. We'll see if it won, because you have the Harrison Burton and Austin Cindric Freightliner. You have Alex Bowman's Ally Nashville edition. You have the Christopher Bell, Denny Hamlin, and Ty Gibbs Interstate car. You have Jimmy Johnson's Carvana Phoenix, which was designed by a fan.
Yeah, it
Very
was.
cool. Daniel Suarez's Tootsie's car that he raced at Talladega. And then the reigning winner, we're saving for last here, the Yahoo car that
Yahoo!
is driven by Christopher Bell and Denny Hamlin. And Andrew, you already know this, but we and the committee agreed on this. The committee with 57.1%. I had it at the very top of my list since the moment I saw it. The Jimmy Johnson Carvana Phoenix taking home the Nigel.
Yeah. Only 3 other schemes received votes. But moving over to the not so good.
No.
The
This isn't
atrocious liveries of the
This
year.
isn't just an award show that celebrates good things. What?
No, we have to put things back into reality here. The atrocious livery of the year. We had 2 F1 cars for the atrocious livery. We had the Haas, and we also had the Kick Sauber.
Yeah.
Both the regular cars.
Yeah.
And both of us, the committee and us, agree, and it is the winner taking 72% of the vote. It is the Sauber /Steak/Kick/Audi, and as I like to combine Sauber and Audi to get Saudi team, their regular livery. Boy, that thing was green highlighter on wheels.
Honestly, like
at
I'm
best.
so glad this car exists though, because they did something unique. They didn't have to. They could have been boring. They could have done another blue car because we don't have enough blue cars on the grid, right? But no, they went out there. It's absolutely terrible, but I commend them for trying. And honestly, like the only reason the Haas is on there is just because we needed at least 2.
All right, let's go over to
Yeah.
the next one, Nigel.
So, following the same pattern here, IndyCar, atrocious scheme of the year. You have Colin Braun's unsponsored car. It was just white with a little bit of red. You have Nolan Siegel's unsponsored car, white with just a little bit of green.
I think you have those back. Actually, you do. Don't.
I have them right.
Mhm.
I'm very I'm very confused here, actually, Andrew, because I'm
Actually,
looking at the key here,
the key is wrong.
and
There, now it's right.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So
I know something wasn't adding up.
you have the Jack Harvey Invest car, and then the Graham Rahal iPacket car, which Andrew, it was nominated for what else?
Scheme of the year last year.
How times change.
Yeah.
I don't know, like just our tastes maybe, or
No, they changed their
did they
car.
change it? They did change it. Okay.
Yeah, they changed their car.
So, to the Graham Rahal, the iPacket car, whoever's in charge of like designs over there, why do we change something great, man? So, anyway, the committee, we had a tie, I believe.
Yes, we did.
We had with 33.3% and 33.3% Graham Rahal's iPacket and Colin Braun's
It's actually pronounced Brown.
and Colin's unsponsored taking the Nigels. And for us, we had Nolan Siegel. I thought that Nolan Siegel's car was going to run away with both. Because as I described before we recorded last week, it's just it's not even the fact that it's an unsponsored car. It's the fact that it's an unsponsored car with a stripe of the worst green you've ever seen. I think I described it as nuclear puke green. And I mean, go look it up. Go look it up and then tell me I'm wrong. You can't, because I'm right.
Moving over to the NASCAR atrocious wrap of the year, we had 6 nominations. Kyle Busch Morgan, California car. BJ McLeod's unsponsored car. Chase Briscoe and Noah Gregson's Rush Truck Center's car. Austin Dillon's Bass Pro Shops throwback. JJ Yaley's Urban Youth Racing School / Chevrolet car white edition.
Miami.
That was ran at Miami, so I know which race to look at. And then JJ Yaley's Mammoth Nation car, which, fun fact, we were at the race where it ran, and
Phoenix.
and then throughout the weekend they were slowly adding more decals to the car.
Yeah, it was very weird to see the evolution. Because if you go look at the car, like, it ended up not being very covered. So it's just funny. But yeah, Andrew.
This was one that the committee and we both agreed on.
Yeah.
I think this is one where the committee, the voters did not get to a 50% on this car. It was a good split. JJ Yaley Mammoth Nation did take a lot of the votes away from the leading one.
Yeah.
But that was Kyle Busch's Morgan, California car with the guy, the CEO of Morgan's dude's face photoshopped onto some buff guy who was, I think, had like some sort of substance on his body, so it was shiny. So it was very weird.
He was shirtless and
not very good. The rest of the car was fine. Just that abomination.
You can't put that
of
on
a
the
hood
of a race car.
Whoever
green-lighted that?
Yeah, whoever green-lighted that, yikes. And then wherever the wrap of that car went, it should have been burned out back. I don't know where out back is, but it should have been burned out back.
Oh, okay. So
light it on fire, baby.
Yeah. So, I mean, extreme maybe, but
no.
I not only do I understand the sentiment, not only do I respect the sentiment, I agree. Moving on to the Genius of the Year, also known as the category that Andrew created to stroke his ego.
Well, you could have added your genius moments, but you didn't. So that's on you.
You have Andrew falling to his knees in the Bill Austin Radio Studio. Shout out the Bill Austin Radio Studio. It's where we're at right now. Andrew, do you want to provide any context for that?
I don't know why I did it. I forgot. I don't know why I put it there.
Okay.
But yeah.
Well, Andrew swept the Spain podium. Don't think that's the only time someone has swept a weekend, but it's on here. It's on here, specifically Spain. And then Andrew's idea of running up the banking at Phoenix for social media content. It's a very funny video. If you go to our Instagram, you'll be able to see it.
We should pin it.
I should pin it. In fact, I might pin it right now.
We'll award the Nigel first and then pin it.
Yeah, it's you need to go watch it. Go turn on the sound. Go watch it. It is very funny. And as Andrew spoiled, it won the Nigel. It was the best moment relating to content for the show all year. Put some sound over it. I think it's funny. Put the Speed Racer theme song over it if you know what that is.
66% of the vote there.
Yeah.
Well, I know we all like the paint schemes. We also have an Idiot of the Year moment. For the worst prediction / moment, we have Andrew not knowing how to go live for the first live show.
That almost was bad. Ended up not being bad at all, but it was almost bad.
Ethan going to the broken computer edit bay to record when all edit bays were open.
I would like to defend myself on this one. I don't think I'm crazy for thinking that, like, over the course of our 2-month...
Oh, this was the episode that you came here during summer vacation.
Yeah. I don't think I'm crazy for thinking that over the course of that break, the computers would have been fixed. Don't think that's crazy at all. My honest opinion.
We also have Andrew forgetting to record the show until midway through the show.
That
it was not
bad.
It wasn't that bad. It was only 3 minutes lost. But
Pretty
still,
sure we got all the way through reviews before we realized.
I don't think so.
Because
I recently edited that episode. We also have Andrew almost falling out of his chair.
very close to falling out of your chair.
We have Ethan failing to turn off the lights in the Bill Austin radio.
The lights
studio.
were not turning off. I was pressing the button, and it wasn't working.
And
I
then-
don't know what you want me to do in that situation.
And then I go up and I could turn off the buttons. I did what you wanted to do for you. I had to get up and walk all the way there. Were there too many buttons on the wheel? More or less buttons and more communication with your engineers. Anyway, moving forward.
I'm gonna press your cough button.
We probably do have a cough button, but I don't use it. Andrew's saying the lights are too bright in the Bill Austin radio studio.
That was funny.
Andrew thinking he can drive an F1 car. I didn't say I could drive it competitively. I said I could drive it.
Yeah, you could drive at 2 miles an hour. I don't disagree with that, honestly.
We also have Joey Logano laughing at Andrew's question on Media Day. And then finally, Morgan referencing Talk to a Podcast.
You don't have to say the name, Andrew.
Let's see.
That was the worst moment of the year.
The committee spread the votes out with this one. You had Andrew thinking he could drive an F1 car. That took some chunk of the votes, along with Joey Logano laughing at my question on Media Day. But the winner was the one where one of the hosts wasn't even on the Idiot of the Year moment. Morgan actually referencing the podcast ran by Haley Welch.
Morgan was on the show this season on the live show for one episode, and he made a lasting impact.
Yeah. However, we did not agree, and I will say our winner was one that received one vote, and it was Andrew almost falling out of his chair. It's got to take some talent
I think
to fall out of a chair.
Yeah,
these things are pretty balanced, and me getting almost all the way to the ground.
It's hard.
It takes some talent to do that.
It's hard for that one to win the committee vote because they weren't in the studio watching it happen. It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. I still think, if I remember correctly, we were kind of split on this, and we met in the middle on that.
Yeah, I think
so. Yeah, I think it was a deserving winner. I think there were multiple things on here that could have won. Yeah, both winners are very deserving in my opinion. And moving on to surprise of the year, specifically a good surprise of the year. Your nominees are we have some drivers for IndyCar and NASCAR, and then we just have teams for Formula One. You got Haas, you got McLaren, and then you have Harrison Burton, Austin Cindric, Chase Briscoe, Carson Hocevar, and Santino Ferrucci. Andrew just pulled out the chicken award. I'm going to ignore that, and I'm going to tell you that the committee, which I don't think this is necessarily a surprise, as I think most of our respondents are primarily Formula One fans, but we had some split opinions. Austin Cindric and Carson Hocevar did get some votes. McLaren got some votes. But the winner from the committee was Haas, which I do agree with if you're going to be specifically talking about Formula One. I think Haas was the best good surprise of the year. Ayuki Matsu came in, turned that team from one that looked like it could be one of the worst three to a very respectable midfield team. I think, was it technically one of the worst three? I don't know. People expected it to be the team to be so much worse than it actually was. The car was actually competitive at points this year. Nico Hülkenberg did a great job driving that car this year. Kevin Magnussen had he had an okay season as well. So, yeah, I think Haas is a very deserving winner if we're going to be talking about it in a Formula One context. But me and Andrew agreed on a different winner. We agreed that it was Santino Ferrucci.
Yeah, the prick himself.
I don't think you can say that.
I said it. The known terrible human being, because he is known to be a terrible human being, and a lot of other people's opinions. Just saying, putting that out there.
Yeah.
He
has a reputation, that's for sure.
Yeah, he was. Where was he?
He was a good surprise in terms of driving on the track.
He finished 19th last year. Same team, up 10 spots, Ethan. And quite frankly, the fact that didn't receive a singular vote, I'm mildly disappointed in the committee. Mildly. I know they don't know IndyCar, but anyway.
I mean, he had a good season. Couple of fourth place finishes at the end there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested in seeing the progression next year because
it'll be interesting with David Malukas' teammate as well. Yeah. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but go ahead.
No, I was just saying like he's had a weird racing career, right? Without even talking about him terrorizing Europe, he came back to the States, does IndyCar for 2 years, is kind of out of it for a while, comes back, does nothing, gets a third at the Indianapolis 500, refuses to elaborate, does nothing for the rest of the year, and then this year just decided to be solid year-round. I don't know if this is a outlier year or a breakthrough year, and we'll only start to find that out next year.
With surprise of the year comes, naturally, disappointment of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And there were a lot of disappointments. You had Joseph Newgarden. He was supposed to be a championship threat. Didn't even crack the top half dozen. He finished like 8th. Marcus Ericsson, going over from Ganassi to Andretti, that was supposed to be maybe an upgrade for him. He's always an 8th place driver, but he wound up finishing like 15th in an Andretti car.
Yeah.
That's not just isn't bad. That's terrible, as some people might say. Chris Buescher, he was pegged as maybe going to a championship 4 appearance at best, winning races. He'd no such thing. Missed the playoffs. Ross Chastain, a similar thing. Being possible championship 4 threat. He at least won a race, but missed the playoffs. Kyle Busch. Downfall of Kyle Busch, winning 3 races last year. And now flat out being downright awful in some weeks of the year. I think he finished like 20th in points.
Yeah. And it only looked like he had like even an outside shot to win a race just a few times this year. Never really came close.
Next up, the entirety of Legacy Motor Club. They were supposed to be, I don't know, mid-20s, but they couldn't even get that. They were barely cracking the top 30 with Derek Jones. I don't even know if they did. Let me check. This was
Yeah.
They didn't have a good year. Eric Jones, he missed a couple races due to injury. John Hunter Nemechek, everyone's saying, he'll be great because he came down when he came up from the lower series. Finished last of full-time drivers. Last.
Yeah.
Eric Jones, he wound up finishing 28th. And then Jimmy Johnson in his few races. I wasn't expecting much, but he was almost a caution clock. Granted, he was more of a caution clock last year, but still very disappointing.
Jimmy Johnson, good surprise of the year?
No. We also have Sauber for being just downright slow all year.
Impressively slow.
Yeah. Daniel Ricciardo, which is the correct pronunciation of his name.
So now you want to pronounce Italian names Italian.
Yes. For getting dropped by his team where he was supposed to be Checo Perez's replacement. We also have Logan Sargent for getting dropped by his team midway through the year.
You get dropped midway through the year, that's an automatic nominee.
And also Sergio Perez for being downright slow.
For finishing 8th in the Drivers' Championship. I repeat, 8th in the Formula One Drivers' Championship when your teammate finishes first.
Again, downright slow.
Like, this is Formula One. I want to repeat. This is Formula One. And he finished 8th, and his teammate finished first.
Bro said, this is Formula One. Absolutely wild. Anyway, moving forward. This is the first time where we couldn't agree.
Yeah. We had compromises. We were like, okay, fine, we'll meet in the middle on this one. This was the first one where we could just not agree. So we had a co-winner.
The committee winner, which also was one of our co-winners, was Sergio Perez.
And hats off to
winning
the committee for that.
54% of the vote. A lot of other, quite frankly, no one was close. A couple other people took votes. But
yeah. Sargent, Bush,
the
the entirety of Legacy Motor Club.
But
and Ricardo all took votes.
That also won for us was Marcus Ericsson.
Yeah.
15th place in Andretti when his teammates are finishing 2nd and 7th. Finishing lower in the points than Marcus Armstrong. Marcus Armstrong!
He essentially did the IndyCar version of Sergio Perez.
Yes. Downright slow. He went from Ganassi, winning races.
Yeah.
Going to Andretti, which is about the same level, maybe a little worse, and being
just lost.
A tornado on track. He had in the final 6 races, Ethan, he had 4 DNFs.
Yeah. Not great.
Not very good.
Not great.
So anyway, moving forward into our next
driver
of the year.
Arguably the most, arguably the most important category. I mean, our next award, Moron of the Year, I would argue is more important. But
I would agree too.
Some might say it's Driver of the Year. And once again, we couldn't come to a decision here. So who were the people that we were arguing over? Alex Palou, Joey Logano, Kyle Larson, and Max Verstappen. I think Palou, Larson, and Verstappen are pretty self-explanatory. Joey Logano did win his series championship, so he is also
listed.
Yeah. The committee. The committee. One member of the committee voted for Joey Logano. Andrew, can we find out who that was and make sure they never get the Google form again? Not that, because look, Joey Logano, you won the championship. Congratulations. You did exactly what you needed to in the system. You played the system to absolute perfection, and no one can fault you for that. But over the course of the year, an entire year, you were not even the best driver. in your own series, and that's what this award is. It's not did you win the championship, even though, I mean, there's an obvious correlation there, but it's were you the best driver in your series?
We are not naming names on who it was, but it was a Formula One primarily fan that voted Joey Logano.
Okay.
This person does know NASCAR,
Okay.
but a primarily Formula One fan voted Joey Logano. Ethan,
For the laughs.
scowling in the corner.
I'm not scowling. I'm just I'm doing the interesting. Anyway, though, enough yapping. Max Verstappen, with 63.6% of the vote, took home the driver of the year vote for the committee. And he was also one of our winners, with Alex Palou being the other. Both of these guys had great years. Max Verstappen was absolutely dominant in the first 5-6 races of the year, whatever it was. After that, Red Bull seldom had the fastest car again, but through every step of the season, he did exactly what he needed to do to win the Formula One Drivers' Championship. And then Alex Palou, once again, another great year, making a spec series look not so spec series. I think this was the first. He was challenged at points this year more than in the past, but he still quite handily
Put a spank into the field.
We'll go with that. Yeah. So that was the driver of the year, and the moron of the year / chicken award of the year / the Sir Lancelot Medal of Excellence award of the year.
I get to read
Andrew, this is
the category.
This is the category. This is the best picture at the Oscar. This is the MVP of the NHL, NFL, NBA, MLB.
I would say this is more the Walter
call
Payton Man of the Year. The Lady Byng Trophy. I don't know what it is for basketball or baseball. I think it's the Roberto Clemente Award. I don't know basketball. But I think this is our version of that.
I'm gonna need you to walk me through that.
I don't know.
Okay.
I feel like that would be more just because being a great human versus not being a great human. I feel like that weighs.
I mean,
but before we get into this award, Ethan, because after we announce this award, what do you have to say to the fans just before we get into this award?
Right. Yeah. So, thank you to everyone, whether you actually listen to this or just support us. Thank you so much to everyone that follows the Instagram, the Twitter, the YouTube, to our friends that listen live, to family members that listen live, to friends, family members that listen live. You know who you are. Thank you all so much. And then to Blaze Radio, thank you for the opportunity. Everyone involved with that. Everyone involved with getting us out to the NASCAR Championship race in November. Like, the coolest experience of my life to date. I will remember that weekend for the rest of my life. Truly, truly, truly an awesome experience. The first time I ever really got to experience something so cool like that, making content on something so cool. Truly an awesome experience. So thank you to all of those guys. And of course, Andrew, couldn't do the show without you, bud. Thank you. And thank you to Austin Hurst as well. Austin, I don't know if you're listening tonight. Our graphics guy. Thank you to him as well.
I'm going to name drop some people as well. Thank you, Austin Hurst, for the graphics. Thank you to all the people at Blaze Radio that allow us to be on the air. Grace Del Pizzo.
Yep.
I don't know what her official title is, but she does
Program director.
Program director. Station manager Ryan Sikora.
Sports Director Jaden
Sports
Taylor.
Director Jaden Taylor. Thank you to all the people that sent got us NASCAR credentials. Jaden Taylor, Sports Director, and Eric List of Fuel for Thought. Those two people I'm incredibly thankful for. Thank you, Ethan, and also thank you, Web Director Ben Paris, for just getting all of our episodes out throughout the year. One time I sent them 6 to get up, that, and now he kind of doesn't have to do that, I guess. I don't know. I'm not the Spotify expert.
Yeah.
I have
No,
Apple
but
Music.
seriously, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you to all those people. Thank you to the listeners as well.
Yeah.
You most important people. And we've got some great things coming for season 3
next
year.
I want to put an exclamation on that thank you to Ben. I mean, this started off because of podcasts on the Blaze Radio Online website, which is Ben's kind of thing. Like that was his thing, still is.
He does other things.
Yeah, of course, but that's like it was one of his things, I should say. And when we, not that we weren't going to try out for a specialty show this year, because we of course were, but winning that Best Sports Podcast award at the Blaze end of year awards last year, it was just awesome to be recognized like that. So thank you again to everyone, like you said, and season 3, a lot of stuff coming, a lot of cool stuff coming. I think we've discussed about expanding the brand in other ways besides just radio shows. So we'll see what happens. Andrew, take us away. Take us home.
And Ethan, I'm glad that we did it with you. So the song that I have coming after is "Did It With You" by Ernest. But anyway, moron of the year, Chicken Award, Sir Lancelot Medal of Excellence. The nominees are Augustine Canapino, Mark Miles, Richard Childress, Dr. Helmut Marko,
Of course.
Sir Lancelot, the FIA, McLaren. The committee, and we also, for this one, we said, okay, we're gonna
allow a write-in option.
We're gonna allow a write-in option.
So the committee decided that Denny Hamlin and Lando Norris were both worth mentioning.
Hold on. It says we have the Lando ones. Denny Hamlin was just wrote in as Denny Hamlin.
Yeah.
We have
the Lando
Lando
ones
Norris
got creative
with a lead, just specifically with a lead, and Lando Norris for being a fraud. Basically the same thing.
I would like to push back against those. I'll go on a rant at some point in time. We don't have time for that today. We're trying to clown who is the most moronic individual. And like I said, like Andrew, this is your baby. Like tell us what happened.
Lando, he finished tied for second with McLaren. Also receiving votes were Dr. Helmut Marko and Augustine Canapino. But the winner was the Vegas sack of clowns. I don't like them very much. There it is, the FIA.
The Fédération Internationale des Automobiles.
That was the committee's vote. Ethan Ignatowski.
Yeah. I don't think I really got a vote on this either, but this is just the way it is.
Yeah, as Walter Cronkite always would say. The winner of the Chicken Award of the year, the moron of the year, chicken sounds like it's dying, is Santino Ferrucci.
To me, it looked like he actually lost the wheel.
The wheel for Ross Chastain is still and perfect.
Wheel on the track.
Did you leave the wheel loose?
You picked the fine time to leave me loose, wheel.